everything in India is a battle. No, seriously, and that's the title. That's the title. Everything in India is a battle. No, seriously, by Mohak Mangal.
Even though India is growing, why does life feel so frustrating? Answer है कि life in India is all about negotiations. जब आप ड्राइव कर रहे हो, आपको
Yes, it's a fight. It's a battle. Waiting in line, it's a battle. Enough space and people will cut in. That's just how it is. It is like for me, if I live in India for about a year, I'll start driving and I'll learn the actual. Okay, I'll start driving when me and my wife start living in India immediately, but it will take me about a year to get comfortable enough to actually cut people off because I'm so used to just being respectful and all that kind of stuff. That's just how I am. That's just how I am. Because unless you're in the big cities in the US, you don't really do any of this cut-off stuff.
नेगोशिएट करना है उस बंदे से जो रॉन्ग साइड ड्राइविंग कर रहा है। जब आप मेट्रो की लाइन पर हो, आपको नेगोशिएट करना है उस बंदे से जो लाइन तोड़कर घुस रहा है। जब आप प्लेन से उतर रहे हो, तो आपको नेगोशिएट करना है उस बंदे से जो धक्का लगा के प्लेन से निकलने की कोशिश कर रहा है। इन सभी चीजों से आप
I'm not gonna lie though, when it comes to getting off the plane, I just want to get off because I was just on a 17-hour flight, right? As soon as we landed in the US, we needed to get off. We needed to get off. I was dead tired. I was dead tired.
आपका मेंटल लोड बढ़ता है एंड लाइफ फील्स मोर फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग। दूसरे देशों में ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि जब आप एक लाइन में खड़े हो, आपके मन में एंजाइटी नहीं है कि दूसरा बंदा लाइन तोड़ देगा, जबकि इंडिया में आपको पूरे टाइम अलर्ट रहना होता है। इस वीडियो का इंस्पिरेशन मुझे आया था इस आर्टिकल से, which explains why these negotiations हमारी जिंदगी को इतना फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग क्यों बनाती। कुछ साल पहले अलग अलग स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ने एक एक्सपेरिमेंटल रूल लागू किया। रूल के हिसाब से वो राइडर्स जिन्होंने हेलमेट पहना है वही पेट्रोल पंप्स में पेट्रोल खरीद सकते हैं। इस चीज के लिए उन्होंने सीसीटीवी रिकॉर्डिंग्स भी स्टार्ट कर दी। रूल सिंपल है, अगर आपने हेलमेट नहीं पहना तो आपको पेट्रोल नहीं मिलेगा। बट इंडिया इज नॉट फॉर बिगिनर्स, इसीलिए जैसे ये रूल आया, एक जुगाड़ इंडस्ट्री स्टार्ट हो गई। कई लोग दूसरे राइडर्स से हेलमेट बोरो करने लग गए ताकि वो पेट्रोल पंप में घुस पाए, और जिनके पास ये जुगाड़ नहीं था
So they were literally selling tickets for a helmet. They were selling tickets to a helmet in order to allow them, like, again, wearing a helmet isn't that difficult. It's not that difficult, but for some reason, a helmet drive? Oh my gosh, you had to buy it. So it was like the COVID thing where everyone had to do it because everyone else was doing it type of thing. That is so freaking stupid. So freaking stupid. You didn't have a vehicle and you were forced to buy one. Again, it's just like there are people who will always try to game the system. There are people who are always trying to make a product. And that's why I've always, like I said, like I think it was yesterday, where in India, the only way to actually have this stuff take effect is you need to hit hard on it in a massive metropolitan area. And you have to start in one city. One major city. You clean up that city in a year, hopefully the rest of the population will see how much better off it is when there's organization, when there's police body cams, when there's rules and regulations, when people get ticketed for breaking the law, when that kind of stuff takes place. And then either you'll have people leave the major metropolitan area and travel to others, or they'll just have to change. And then eventually the rules will chase them around all of India. But that's what you have to do. You have to change it in one place and only one place. You can't target all of India all at once. India's just way too big, way too many people there. Target one city, target the capital, change the laws in the capital, and then slowly target the other major metropolitan areas. And then guess what? The rural areas always try to emulate, because the kids always try to emulate what the big cities do. They'll bring it back. They'll bring it back to the hometowns, and everything changes over time. But that's how it has to change. That's how it has to change. It's never going to change otherwise.
उनका 5 रुपए से काम हो गया।
Oh my gosh.
पेट्रोल लेने के लिए तो आपके पास सोल्यूशन होगा, पर कई बार हेल्थ इमरजेंसीज के लिए हमारे पास सोल्यूशन नहीं होता। इमरजेंसी कब आ जाए कोई नहीं जानता, और जब आती है मेडिकल बिल्स सीधा आपके सेविंग्स पर अटैक करते हैं। Which is why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, the best way to keep yourself healthy and relax in such.
Yeah, it's good to have a sponsor. It's good to have a sponsor. Again, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a sponsor. Even his ad is AI. Even his ad is AI. Oh, police body cams is never going to happen in India. It would be like living in parallel universe. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. It's just, it has to take place in one place and one place only. And the officers that don't utilize their body cams or turn them off, they get fined for it. That's just how it has to play out. Like, it's funny, like I'll walk into a government facility up where I work, and in like the police restrooms, they have a reminder like right before the don't forget to turn off your body cam. Right in the restrooms, right above the toilet, just like don't forget to turn off your body cam. I agree with you in this matter. Once just the city will start to revolutionize, especially you have to. That's what you have to do.
इस नेगोशिएशन की लड़ाई में हर रेड लाइट एक गेम बन जाती है।
Yep. One pushes its way in and everyone else follows. But the thing is, like the way traffic goes in India, it's like the second one thing goes, that no one's going to stop. No one's going to stop. They'll just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And are they on like sensors? Like in the US, the red lights are on like magnet sensors. So they sense when a vehicle is over the magnet. So they'll let like, I think 5 to 20 more cars through. And then they put a red light on them and allow the next group to go through for a segment of vehicles. And then it constantly transitions. But in India, I don't know if they have that. And it would just, they'd constantly be having to force themselves in. They'd constantly be having to.
आपको डिसाइड करना है कि आप रूल फॉलो करोगे या आप भी लाइट जंप कर दोगे। आपके दिमाग में चलेगा कि यार अगर मैं ही रूल फॉलो कर रहा हूँ और दूसरे लोग नहीं कर रहे तो मैं तो
Same thing with litter. Same thing with litter. A lot of people will just find it easy to litter in India because it's just like, it doesn't matter. Me dropping one small wrapper means nothing. But think of it this way. If 1.4 billion people all think the same, 1.4 billion people all think the same, India's a trash heap. That's just how you have to think about it. You have that one thought that your piece of litter doesn't mean anything. But if 1.4 billion people all think the exact same thing, you're living in a trash heap. As long as you're able to think that, other people might think the same. And you can feel better about it's like, I am making a difference that maybe somebody else is. That maybe it brings the population of people littering down to 1 billion. Sure, that's still a lot, but it's much better than 1.4 billion people. It's just 1 billion people. Like that's the thing. You have to always take into account your own actions. You are in control of your own actions. You have the power to do what you are willing to do. People give excuses of population. In reality, population is not the reason. No, it's not the reason. It's not the reason. But people always use it as an excuse. They will. People will always use it as an excuse. I'm pretty sure there are a few situations where population is an issue. Like, again, the population density in cities can be an issue, but there are ways of working around it. Changing the way transportation works, changing around the type of vehicles that are allowed in metropolitan areas, certain things like that. There are ways around it.
ऊपर लगूंगा ना। अब इससे क्या होता है कि ऐसी गेम में वो लोग जो रूल्स तोड़ते हैं वो तो आगे निकल जाते हैं, पर पूरी रोड जाम हो जाती है क्योंकि अब सबका इंसेंटिव बन गया रूल तोड़।
I've been through a few situations like that. I've been through a few where it's just completely jammed. It's funny because you're like watching a movie and they're driving through the streets of India. You go like, no, that's not India. That's not India. Because, you know, they close the road to shoot those scenes, so they make it look used. But because the funny thing is like when they shoot those scenes of roads being driven in India, they look like the US. Because that's how it's like in the US. Enough space between cars for them to just drive on through. That's literally how it is here in the West. But if they were actually to shoot it realistically, Nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe it.
बेंगलुरु की अगर हम बात करें, एक बंदे ने 170 घंटे बिताए ट्रैफिक में। इस टाइम के दौरान तो आप करीब 50 बार धुरंधर देख सकते थे। Now why do these problems even take place? There are 3 core reasons. First है कि रूल और रियलिटी के बीच में बहुत डिफरेंस है। सेकंड है कि क्योंकि कई लोग रूल फॉलो नहीं करते तो सिस्टम में ट्रस्ट ही नहीं है। सिस्टम में ट्रस्ट नहीं है, इस वजह से पब्लिक नॉर्म्स कभी क्रिएट नहीं होती। अब ये आसान है आपके लिए अज्यूम करना कि इंडिया में रूल्स एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते। इनफैक्ट उल्टा है, रूल्स एग्जिस्ट करते हैं पर वो एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होते हैं। दिसंबर 2025 में दिल्ली सरकार ने एक बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट पोल्यूशन रूल इंट्रोड्यूस किया। वो गाड़ियां जिनके पास वैलिड पोल्यूशन अंडर कंट्रोल यानी कि पीयूसी
smog check. That's what we have in the US. Every year you're supposed to get your vehicle smogged to prove that it's not the gas is actually being processed correctly and it's not burning a certain point into toxins into the air. Like there's that I don't know what the metric is, but there is that. And I think that's actually a good thing to have. It's healthier, it's cleaner. You're not constantly smelling the fumes as you're driving, or the vehicles behind you don't have to suffer through the fumes. Like everyone's been stuck behind those vehicles that you literally are getting a headache because you're smelling the fuel burning. You're smelling it burning, which isn't natural. That isn't natural.
सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है, वो पेट्रोल नहीं ले सकती। और जो पुरानी गाड़ियां जिनके पास ये सर्टिफिकेट
The problem is there is so much concentration of development in first-tier cities that they take up so much attention that there is very less chance for the second and third-tier cities to develop. And there is that as well. But the thing is that's why you need to strike down the rules and regulations on the first-tier city. You have to crack down on the major metropolitan areas before you extend it outwards. Because as soon as you change it in that would be the benefit of living in a first tier city, I guess is a good term for it. In a first tier city. Well, you have to abide by the rules in a first tier city because there would be cameras on top of all the lights, which there are here in the US. You speed through a light, you're getting sent a picture of you speeding through that light and a bill in the mail. That's just how it works. And you don't have a license plate, you get ticketed. You have a light out, you get ticketed. You just have to start implementing those things in the major cities.
सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है, उनको शहर में एंट्री नहीं मिलेगी। ऑफिशियल्स ने कहा कि ये हमने किया शहर का प्रदूषण कम करने के लिए।
और मैं दिल्ली के नागरिकों से आग्रह करता हूं, आप हमारा इसमें सहयोग करिए। मैं आपकी सहयोग की उम्मीद करता हूं। दिल्ली का पोल्यूशन हम मिलकर ही लड़ सकते हैं। पोल्यूशन हमारे द्वारा ही दिया गया है, कोई बाहर से तो आता नहीं है।
अब अगेन ऑन पेपर ये रूल तो बहुत अच्छा है, पर इसकी एग्जीक्यूशन ढंग से नहीं।
They probably just bribed someone for a certificate.
नो फ्यूल। लेकिन यहाँ पर किसी का भी पोल्यूशन सर्टिफिकेट है वो चेक नहीं किया जा रहा है। जो भी वाहन आ रहे हैं उन्हें फ्यूल दिया जा रहा है।
इस रूल के बावजूद कई गाड़ियों ने अपना सर्टिफिकेट अपडेट नहीं किया क्योंकि उनका ये माना था कि चेकिंग तो होएगी ही नहीं, ये इंडिया है ना।
दिन में कितनी गाड़ियां ऐसे डेली आ रही जिनके पास नहीं होता
है सर? काफ़ी 10-12 गाड़ी हैं, काफ़ी बहुत सारी गाड़ी हैं।
काफ़ी गाड़ी
हैं सर।
तो अगर हमारे देश में हम रूल बना भी देते हैं, लोग ट्रस्ट नहीं करते कि ये रूल एनफोर्स होगा भी, जिस वजह से डे 1 में ही रूल डाइल्यूट हो जाता है। और इसको एक पैटर्न बुलाया जाता है जिसका नाम डगलस नॉर्थ ने दिया, रूल्स ऑफ द गेम। इस थ्योरी के हिसाब से ट्रैफिक लॉज, आईडी सिस्टम या गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज फॉर्मल रूल्स कहलाते हैं, जबकि इनफॉर्मल रूल्स वो रूल्स होते हैं जो कहीं लिखे हुए नहीं मिलेंगे आपको, पर ये वो रूल्स हैं जो लोग मानते हैं। ये हो गए हैबिट्स, वैल्यूज और एक्सपेक्टेशंस। इसको हम लिव्ड रियलिटी बुला सकते हैं। और हमारे देश में रूल्स और लिव्ड रियलिटी के बीच में बहुत बड़ा अंतर है। वो देश जो डेवलप्ड हैं उधर इन दोनों चीज में अंतर बहुत कम है। एक रूल बन गया तो वही इन लोगों की रियलिटी बन जाती है, क्योंकि फिनलैंड और डेनमार्क जैसे देशों में ये मानना है कि अगर रूल बन गया तो पुलिस, कोर्ट्स और पब्लिक सिस्टम इस चीज को फॉलो करेंगे ही। हेंस नॉर्डिक कंट्रीज जैसे डेनमार्क, नॉर्वे और फिनलैंड।
Well, I think those as well. Like there is a lot of. So for me, I would never even dare to try to bribe an officer. Because, well, first of all, they're recording everything. And that is a massive sentence. To bribe an official officer is prison time right there. I think it's like a year, 6 months to a year or something, depending on the severity of the crime and the bribe or whatever. Like there, it would never even come in my head. I would never even fathom that. But it's funny, when I'm in India, I just immediately have the mindset of just like, well, if I get in trouble, I can just pay them to let me off. Like, it pops into my head because the media encourages that thought. And again, I've always been a huge proponent of like a media is a clear dictator, not dictator, informer on what is actually going on. And one thing that is constantly prevalent in almost every single film in India is the corruption of officials. I mean, sure, there are absolutely corrupt officials everywhere in the world, but you can't just pay a normal peace officer here in the US to get out like you allegedly can in India, because here it's all being documented, it's all recorded, and they will report it because they're not going to risk their jobs for taking just a small amount of cash, what they can probably make in a day from just working their 12-hour shift. There's no way they would take a bribe. But in India, it's different. It's different. There's no maybe they'll have a partner that does the same thing, so they end up doing it too. Maybe the whole system that the precinct they work at doesn't care, or maybe there's no cameras or anything that really matter. That if someone comes with a complaint that, oh, I bribed this officer and they took my money and they still, it's just like, well, you shouldn't have paid the officer. So it's just like that kind of stuff wouldn't come into my mind. But in India, I literally have the thought where it's like, oh, I could just pay them. I could just pay them. It's no big deal, which should never come into anyone's head. It really shouldn't. It really should never pop into anyone's head. And India's system is always wrong. The first leader of India needed to be disciplined after independence, but what we got was blunder. I mean, yeah, there has to be. And again, it's the people. The people need to actually believe that they want to live in a safer and, dare I say it, more civilized society. That's just what it is. You want to live in a safer and a more civilized society, because people from first worlds go to India and it's like, oh, okay, third world country, makes sense. Like yeah, I mean, you in order to become a first world, you have to literally abide by the government. You have to actually enforce laws and rules and things like that. It's not about the government. It's always about the coordination between government and public. It's not just that. It also has to do with people thinking something about the people that are there to enforce the laws, which the people in India don't really think anything's going to happen because the laws aren't going to be enforced to begin with. So why would they care? Why would they care?
दुनिया की सबसे ज्यादा ट्रस्टवर्दी सोसाइटीज में आते हैं उन देशों में जहां लोग मानते हैं कि जुडिशियल सिस्टम इंडिपेंडेंट है, पुलिस लॉ को इन्फोर्स करेगी और पब्लिक इन रूल्स को फॉलो करेगी, तो एक सिटीजन ये नहीं मानता कि उसको शॉर्टकट लेने की जरूरत, और इस वजह से इन देशों में ये सिस्टम बहुत स्मूथली चलता है। पर इंडिया जैसे देशों में जहाँ रूल्स और लिव रियलिटी के बीच में एक बहुत बड़ा अंतर है, उधर एक रूल आपने बना भी दिया तो लोग सोचते हैं कोई एक्चुअली चेक करेगा भी या नहीं। अगर चेक करेगा तो मैं किस विधायक को कॉल कर सकता हूँ जिससे ये रूल लागू ना हो मुझ पर। इस वजह से एवरीथिंग बिकम्स अ नेगोशिएशन। अब देखो, आपने अपने विधायक जी को एक बार कॉल कर दिया, दैट डजंट मेक अ बिग डिफरेंस, बट व्हेन एवरीवन डज दिस, सोसाइटी में एक बदलाव आता है, एंड देन सोसाइटी बिकम्स व्हाट इज कॉल्ड अ लो ट्रस्ट सोसाइटी। पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट फ्रांसिस फुकुयामा ने दो तरीके की सोसाइटीज को डिफाइन किया था, हाई ट्रस्ट और लो ट्रस्ट। हाई ट्रस्ट वो सोसाइटीज हैं जहाँ डिफॉल्ट बिलीफ है कि हमारी सरकार अपना काम करेगी, जबकि लो ट्रस्ट सोसाइटीज में माना जाता है कि सिस्टम पर निर्भर मत करो, अपने कनेक्शंस पर रिलाय करो। मुझे आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कि इंडिया इन दोनों में से कौन सी बकेट में आएगा। जैसे फरवरी 2026 में एक बहुत बड़ा करप्शन रैकेट सामने आया कोलकाता म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के बारे में। ये था बर्थ और डेथ सर्टिफिकेट्स के बारे में। एक बेसिक सर्विस के लिए लोगों को 20 से 30 हजार रुपए देने पड़ रहे थे। कई दलाल सरकारी ऑफिशियल्स के साथ मिलकर लोगों को ठग रहे थे। अगर आपको बर्थ या डेथ सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए तो म्यूनिसिपल ऑफिशियल्स बोलते हैं कि 3-4 हफ्ते बाद आओ। अब अगर आपको तुरंत चाहिए तो आपको पैसे देने पड़ते। कोलकाता म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन ने कुछ ऑफिशियल्स को
Yep. Yeah, that's the funny thing, because when my wife was getting her visa paperwork and everything, because there is a part where it goes to the U.S. Embassy and it's their responsibility, but everything prior to that, she was like, oh, I could call this person, I can call this person, I can call this person, and like because we literally found out within like a week span, that she needed to get all her paperwork ready because we literally, as soon as we heard that, oh, it's going to get canceled, the visa process is going to get canceled because apparently she never received the letter in her mail, that we got the date and then immediately she needed to get all her paperwork, and she had got it done like a day before she needed to fly out to Mumbai to go to the embassy. But she literally just called people and they sped up the process, which I'm happy that she was able to do that. But at the same time, that's blatant corruption, which is, again, I'm glad that she was able to do that because then she wouldn't have had the paperwork to go to her interview. But it's just a system that's in place to influence corruption. It's just like, oh, I could just call this person, I can just pay this amount of money to just get ahead of the line. And it pushes people who are literally doing things by law the correct way, wanting to be a good citizen. And, oh, the good citizen gets punished because they're not willing to pay more, or they're not willing to call in favors, or they're not willing to... It's sad. It's sad. But, well, no. But you had connections. You had connections. It's different.
स्पेंड जरूर किया, बट द पॉइंट इज दैट दिस इज नॉट एन आइसोलेटेड एक्सपीरियंस.
4 घंटा खड़ी हूँ, नो रिस्पॉन्स. बाद में बोलते इधर जाओ उधर जाओ. गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम उतना अच्छा नहीं है यहाँ पे. वो बोलती है
क्या जुगाड़ लगाना पड़ता है गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस में?
ब्रोकर्स बाहर बैठे रहते, हमको 2,000 रुपये दो, लॉयर का स्टैंप लगा के दे देंगे, 2 दिन में काम हो जाएगा. गवर्नमेंट कर सकता है ना, ब्रोकर्स क्यों चाहिए इसके लिए?
फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे मुझे आज एक ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस चाहिए, ठीक है. अगर मैं वाया ब्रोकर के थ्रू जाती हूँ तो मैंने देखा है कि जो लोग प्रॉपरली टेस्ट नहीं भी देते, थोड़ा 500-1000 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा देके यू गेट द लाइसेंस.
इसी वजह से हमारे देश में एक सिंड्रोम है जिसका नाम है तू जानता है मेरा बाप कौन है सिंड्रोम. एंड दिस हैज़ डिफरेंट कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हमारे देश में अभी भी कई बाहुबली नेता है, जैसे अतीक अहमद, राजा भैया. ऐसे पॉलिटिशियंस हमारे देश में बहुत समय से पॉपुलर रहे. क्यों? इसके बारे में मैंने डिटेल वीडियो बनाया था. बिकॉज सम कम्युनिटीज़ बिलीव कि सिस्टम उनके लिए काम नहीं करता, क्योंकि कई लोग मानते हैं कि चाहे हमारा विधायक गुंडा ज़रूर है पर वो हमारा गुंडा है. ऐसे देश में जहाँ हम सिस्टम पर नहीं रिलाई कर सकते, यू नीड अ लोकल गुंडा जो आपके लिए कम से कम काम तो कराए. एंड दिस
You need a corrupt person that is at least from your area that you can actually believe will be for your area. But the thing is, like, again, politics is like, I'm against politicians. I'm absolutely against politicians. What you need are leaders. And they don't care. Politicians only care about lining their own pocket and doing what's best for them, staying in power and all that. Leaders are willing to fall on their own sword for their people. That's what we need. We need leaders. We don't need politicians. We need to stop politicians. We need people who will go to bat for the people. That's what's literally needed. Absolutely. 100%. Leaders are what's most important.
happens when people don't trust the system. तो अब आपको तो समझ आ गया कि आपके हित में ही नहीं है एक रूल को फॉलो करना. अब
There's no law and order in India. Rich people can get away with almost anything. Low key, if your kids run someone over with a Porsche, they can just have a write an essay or to get bail. Yeah. That a lot of that is absolutely true. A lot of that is absolutely true. That tends to happen. Well, that is everywhere. There's a reason why when like a rapper or actor or does something incredibly they can only get like a what is it? What is the sentence called where they're like house arrest? They only get like house arrest because you can't really imprison those people. You just can't. They're too well known, too famous.
बात करते हैं सरकार की. कई बार सरकार के भी हित में नहीं है एक रूल को इन्फोर्स करना. अब जो ट्रैफिक पुलिस ऑफिसर है उसको क्लियरली दिख रहा है कि आपने हेलमेट नहीं पहना, या फिर दूसरी गाड़ियां सिग्नल जंप कर रही है, या फिर एक थार रॉन्ग साइड पर चला रही है, पर वो इस चीज़ को कई बार इग्नोर करते हैं. इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि उनको दिख नहीं रहा है या फिर वो कोई एक्शन लेना नहीं चाहते, पर इसलिए बिकॉज दे आर नॉट इंसेंटिवाइज्ड टू टेक एन एक्शन. ठीक है, आपने एक्शन ले लिया तो फिर क्या होगा? क्या आपकी पगार बढ़ेगी? क्या आपको प्रमोशन मिलेगी? नॉट रियली. जैसे मैंने IAS ऑफिसर्स पर एक वीडियो बनाया था वेयर आई यूज कार्तिक मुरलीधरन्स बुक, जो एक प्रोफेसर हैं, और उन्होंने बात करी कि IAS ऑफिसर्स की प्रमोशन और सैलरी ऑलरेडी फिक्स्ड होती है, अनलाइक द कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर जहां आपका मैनेजर आपकी परफॉर्मेंस एवैल्यूएशन करता है and you can get promoted or fired. Many times with IS officers that's not possible. आपकी promotion और salary वैसे ही fixed है. In that case, what incentive does a traffic policeman have कि भाई मैं इस गाड़ी को रोकूं? क्या कोई देख भी रहा है इस चीज को? Not really. उल्टा एक रिस्क जरूर है.
Body cams and cameras on the traffic stops. That's just what's going to have to happen.
कि अगर आपने एक एक्शन ले लिया तो आपको सस्पेंड कर दिया जाएगा. ऐसा ही हुआ था एक IS ऑफिसर के साथ जिन्होंने उत्तर प्रदेश के एक गांव में साफ पानी का प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च किया, पर उनको बाद में एक विधायक जी से सुनना पड़ा क्योंकि उन्होंने पार्टी के एक ऑफिशियल को इनविटेशन नहीं दिया इस इनॉग्रेशन के लिए.
Local BJP leader Vipul Singh had written to Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath complaining about Divya Mittal. He said that the local MLA, MP and other government officials were not invited to the inauguration.
तो अगर आपकी प्रमोशन
So he's just a child. He's a little kid that didn't go to the neighborhood Christmas party or birthday party. He's upset that he wasn't invited to the birthday party. Yeah, I hate politicians. Trump and Modi are great politicians, so true. I mean, Trump was never a politician. Never a politician. You can't call him a politician. He's never been a politician. He's a businessman first and foremost and wants to line his own pocket. And again, that's just who he is. I don't know any, about Modi. I know he's been in politics, but I don't know much about him.
और सैलरी फिक्स्ड है और एक नया एक्शन लेने पर आप सस्पेंड हो सकते हो. व्हाट वुड यू डू? यू विल जस्ट नॉट डू एनीथिंग एंड दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम विद मोस्ट पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स इन आवर कंट्री. तो इसका सोल्यूशन बहुत आसान है. बेसिकली जो सैलरी है गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट्स की वो लिंक्ड होनी चाहिए उनकी परफॉर्मेंस से. एंड दिस वर्क्स एंड वी हैव एविडेंस. कार्तिक मुरलीधर ने एक रिसर्च करी थी रूरल आंध्र प्रदेश में जहाँ उन्होंने टीचर्स को 3% बोनस दिया अगर उनके स्टूडेंट्स के लर्निंग आउटकम्स में इम्प्रूवमेंट आए. हुआ क्या? 2 साल बाद उन्होंने नोटिस किया कि वो बच्चे जो उन टीचर्स से पढ़ रहे थे जिनको परफॉर्मेंस लिंक बोनस दिया जाएगा उनके एग्जाम में स्कोर ज्यादा है उन बच्चों के कंपैरिजन से जिनकी टीचर्स को ऐसा कोई बोनस नहीं दिया गया. इसका मतलब है कि अगर हम अपने पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स को परफॉर्मेंस बोनस देंगे.
Yeah, that's the reason why the education system in the US is so destroyed, because as soon as someone gets hired in the public school system, they're locked in their career. That they're locked in. You can't fire them at that point. They get tenure and they just don't care. There is no incentive for them to actually teach. They just sit back. Like there's a video documentary done on it. Like I think it was like 15, 20 years ago called Waiting for Superman. And it's just about how the US public school system just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
तो सबका भला होगा. इसके बारे में एक और स्टडी हो चुकी है जो इंटरनेशनल ग्रोथ सेंटर ने करी थी. एंड दिस शुड नॉट बी रॉकेट साइंस फॉर यू. ऑब्वियसली अगर किसी को बोनस दिया जाएगा तो वो मेहनत करेंगे, पर जब तक हम अपने पुलिस ऑफिसर ट्रैफिक ऑफिशियल्स को इंसेंटिव नहीं देंगे द सोसाइटी डजंट रियली फॉलो रूल्स. और इस वजह से हमारी सोसाइटी में कोई नॉर्म्स भी नहीं क्रिएट होती. अगर हम मेट्रो में रूल्स फॉलो करते तो सबका मेंटल लोड कम होता, पर क्योंकि लोग एक दूसरे को ट्रस्ट नहीं करते सब लाइन कट करने की कोशिश करते हैं. और इसको हम गेम थ्योरी से एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. गेम थ्योरी हमें बताती है कि लोग डिसीजन लेते कैसे. एक एग्जाम्पल जो शायद आपने स्कूल में पढ़ा होगा वो है प्रिजनर्स डिलेमा. जैसे मान लो कि आपकी गाड़ी है और मेरी गाड़ी है. अगर मुझे पता है कि आप रूल तोड़ोगे तो क्या मेरा इंसेंटिव है रूल को फॉलो करना? नहीं, मैं भी रूल तोड़ूंगा. पर अगर हम दोनों ने रूल तोड़ दिया तो हम दोनों की गाड़ी स्लो हो जाएगी. और यही हो रहा है हमारे देश में. सबको लगता है कि ये रूल तोड़ेगा तो क्यों ना मैं भी रूल तोड़ूं. और अगर सब रूल तोड़ने लग जाते हैं तो पूरे देश का नुकसान होता है और चक्का जाम लग.
It's reminding me of being back in India. Every time you'd run into this traffic jam and it's just like, what happened? Why? And then you're stuck there. I remember like me and my wife we went to Science City, right? Yeah, we went to Science City, and on our way back, it was this. And the funny thing is, we were staying in the like our lane. It was the traffic officer that told us to go into the other lane. And then we were going down the other lane, and then guess what? A ton of cars were coming this way towards us. And it wasn't our fault. It was the traffic officer that literally told us to go that way. He was like, what the heck? Because the traffic officers don't even know what's going on. They literally don't. And what's funny is the people that actually got the traffic broken up it was wedding time. There were weddings going on. And it was several wedding parties that had gotten out of their commutes from, the groom, because the groom always is traveling. They had gotten out, and they were basically moving traffic along because the traffic officers weren't doing their job. It was the groom's party that was actually clearing up the traffic in order to get the groom to the destination. It was just crazy. It was crazy.
अब इसका सलूशन क्या है? Clearly,
We waited for 2 hours in that traffic.
करना बंद कर देंगे जब उनको लगेगा कि रूल्स एक्चुअली इन्फोर्स होंगे और फॉलो होंगे. इनफैक्ट इंडिया के लॉज आर मच स्ट्रिक्टर देन मेनी अदर कंट्रीज. जो परमिसिबल अल्कोहल लिमिट है हमारे देश में वो यूके, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड से भी कम है. सो हाउ डू वी फिक्स दिस? वी हैव टू जस्ट इन्फोर्स द लॉज. एक रीसेंट रिसर्च पेपर हुआ था जिसने इंडियन स्टेट्स को 3 भागों में डिवाइड किया ट्रैफिक रूल्स के मामले में. सबसे टॉप पे हैं जिनको डिसिप्लिन बुलाया गया. ये हैं सिक्किम, मिजोरम, हिमाचल प्रदेश. फिर हैं जिनको रेकलेस बुलाया गया. ये हैं कर्नाटका, तमिलनाडु और आंध्र प्रदेश. और बीच में है ट्रांजिशनल जोन की स्टेट्स. ये हैं गुजरात, पंजाब और उत्तराखंड जैसी स्टेट्स जहां सरकारी कैंपेन्स की बदौलत कुछ बिहेवियरल चेंज देखने को मिला. रिसर्चर्स ने बताया कि सिक्किम, मिजोरम और हिमाचल प्रदेश जैसी स्टेट्स में ट्रैफिक वायलेशंस कम इस वजह से हैं क्योंकि उधर लॉज इन्फोर्स करे जाते हैं स्ट्रीट कैमरास की बदौलत, और ड्राइवर्स को चालान भी दिए जाते हैं. अब आप बोलोगे कि दिल्ली और बेंगलुरु में भी कैमरास हैं, पर कैमरास बस होने से कुछ नहीं होता. द क्वेश्चन इज कि अगर कोई रूल तोड़ रहा है क्या उनका चालान कट भी रहा है या फिर नहीं. जैसे वन एग्जाम्पल दैट डिस्कस इन द पास्ट इज इंदौर. उधर की म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन वो लोग जो कचरा सेग्रीगेट नहीं करते उन पर हैवी फाइन्स लगाते हैं. जैसे गार्बेज वैन ड्राइवर ने बताया कि जब हमारा अभियान चला था 80% लोग अपना कचरा सेपरेट नहीं करते थे, पर हमने उन
And look at how different it is just because they have this enforced. Like it is possible. It absolutely is possible, but you just have to dedicate to it. You have to be like, yes, this will make it better, and the people have to be able to see it. That's one thing that is difficult. If people don't see like an immediate change, it becomes a problem. There has to be some kind of effect for people to actually work on the cause. So when it comes to like litter, if they can walk around literally just seeing the nature, the beauty of India without seeing a bunch of trash everywhere in the public parks, they're more likely to see that, oh, actually controlling and participating and throwing out my trash is a good thing, because they see the effect of them throwing away the trash. So they'll work on actually doing that. You just have to have that. When it comes to like traffic violations and things like that, you need to hit hard to get a ton of money. And guess what? That'll add more money to the government system, because you're ticketing all these people who are breaking the law, bikers not wearing helmets, people driving in the wrong side of the lane. You start ticketing them hard. Guess what? Traffic will actually get smoother because there will be less accidents of people running into someone because they were in the wrong lane. That's just how it has to work out.
लोगों को फाइन करना स्टार्ट किया, जिसके बाद चीजें बदली. जब लॉज इन्फोर्स होंगे, then we need civic participation to improve the trust in the system. इस चीज के लिए हम एग्जांपल देख सकते हैं केरला का. केरला में आपने देखा होगा कि रोड्स वगैरह कितनी साफ रहती हैं. रिसेंटली महिंद्रा चेयरपर्सन आनंद महिंद्रा भी केरला के गांवों को देखकर शॉक रह गए. ये इसलिए है क्योंकि उधर म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज और पंचायत देश में सबसे इंडिपेंडेंट है. जैसे हम अलेप्पी की बात करते हैं, इधर लोग कचरे से बहुत परेशान थे और इसी वजह से उधर मास मूवमेंट स्टार्ट हुई, जिससे लोग खुद कचरा कलेक्ट और सेग्रीगेट करने लग गए. कई नेबरहुड ग्रुप्स बने जहां महिलाएं शामिल थी जिन्होंने ये चीजें करवाई. अब जब रूल्स इन्फोर्स होते हैं और समाज में ट्रस्ट बढ़ता है, तो जो गैप है लॉज, रिटन रूल्स और लिव्ड रियलिटी के बीच, वो कम होता है. And when this can happen in our country, the quality of life will significantly increase. और जब तक ये नहीं होगा, तब तक हमें ऐसी चीजें देखने को मिलेगी
where along with the ambulance in traffic you will see 7 cars attach themselves
to the back of the freaking ambulance. Yeah, that's what's funny. It's like I remember my first experience with that was literally watching Three Idiots, and then it was I think it was the father, yeah, the father, and they had to rush him to the hospital, and you had Amir Khan riding on the scooter in the front of the freaking ambulance, and he's trying to wave the cars away, because it was so weird to me, because like it for me instinctively, I see sirens behind me, I pull off the road. Because by law, that is what's required of you as a driver. Like my wife has even experienced it as we've been on the road, and then an ambulance will be behind, an ambulance, fire truck, a police car. You just pull off to the side of the road. Make room for them to speed past you, because they're either trying to save a person's life or are trying to prevent some kind of harm. They're there to protect you or do something to say, you don't want to be the cause for something bad to happen. At least that's how it's how I've always felt about it. So it's like and no one follows it. I mean, the only time I'd ever seen that happen was in Die Hard 3. Die Hard 3? Yeah, Die Hard 3 with a Vengeance, where they call an ambulance for an officer down, and then you see Bruce Willis drive behind the ambulance because all the cars in front of the ambulance were pulling off to the side. So he was like, he had a blocker to get himself to the end zone.
ताकि उनको साफ रास्ता मिल जाए. So hopefully you like this video, and don't forget to check out Ditto. Description में link मिल जाएगा.
Yeah, I really like his videos. I really like his videos. It's just so much stuff. Like there are things that could be implemented, but people have to see the benefits of it. If they think they can get somewhere far quicker by just doing their own thing, they're gonna do that, especially when it comes to driving. If they think like littering means absolutely nothing, they're gonna do that. If they think they can assault a person because everyone else does it, no, it doesn't, they're going to do that. That's the thing. It's like you have to be careful on what people perceive as normal. Like the fact that I can go to India and think that bribing an officer is normal is just, that shouldn't be the thing. That really shouldn't be a thing. But it is. It absolutely is.
You guys get the video?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Why is like that?